I don't have to tell you things are bad. Everybody knows things are bad. It's a depression. Everybody's out of work or scared of losing their job. The dollar buys a nickel's worth. Banks are going bust. Shopkeepers keep a gun under the counter. Punks are running wild in the street, and there's nobody anywhere who seems to know what to do, and there's no end to it. We know the air is unfit to breathe, and our food is unfit to eat. We sit watching our TVs while some local newscaster tells us that today we had 15 homicides and 63 violent crimes, as if that's the way it's supposed to be. We know things are bad, worse than bad. They're crazy. It's like everything everywhere is going crazy, so we don't go out anymore. We sit in the house, and slowly the world we're living in is getting smaller, and all we say is, please, at least leave us alone in our living rooms. Let me have my toaster and my TV and my steel-belted radios, and I won't say anything. Just leave us alone. Well, I'm not going to leave you alone. I want you to get mad. I don't want you to protest. I don't want you to riot. I don't want you to write to your congressman because I wouldn't know what to tell you to write. I don't know what to do about the depression and the inflation and the Russians and the crime in the street. All I know is that first, you've got to get mad. You've got to say, I'm a human being. My life has value.
In our neighborhood supposedly doing new installs, so I keep losing the internet. If I lose the internet again, I'm just going to reschedule. So update on Ohio. I really hope that you guys had the opportunity to listen to or watch the show from the other night. Hold on a minute. And our guest was, her name's Chris. and she is a resident of East Palestine, Ohio, and she came on and she was talking to us about the things that were happening there. Now, the reason why I named the show Planes, Trains, and Brockovich is because there's a lot of craziness going on. And if you've seen the movie Planes, Trains, and Automobiles, you'll know that it was hard for them to get from point A to point B. And that's really where we are with this today. There's so much disinformation out there. There's so many things that are happening. I'm going to play a short video in just a minute. Actually, no, I'm not going to do the video yet. All right, so let's bring up the exclusive. There is a video. Let me just put this one up on the screen and we'll play this one for us real quick.
Environmental activist Erin Brockovich is now in East Palestine ahead of her town hall tomorrow.
Most people know her from her self-titled film starring Julia Roberts. In the 90s, she spearheaded a major lawsuit against a California utility company after hundreds of people got sick from water contamination.
She continues fighting for environmental safety and tells me she has not witnessed anything quite like the East Palestine disaster.
This is like something I haven't seen in my career.
Erin Brockovich, another notable public figure, making a stop in the village, hoping to be a voice in the wake of the derailment. So, Erin, why are you in East Palestine?
I'm here today because the community, by hundreds and hundreds, have been reaching out to me since the 4th of February.
As an advocate and legal consultant, Brockovich has dedicated her life to learning and uncovering contaminants across the country. She says she's worked on 40-plus cases, including derailments, and says all incidents have something in common: a long road ahead, concerned citizens, and unanswered questions.
Here I am 30 years later, and in between all that time doing environmental situations, and agencies that we trust oversee us again and again and again. Why am I here? We're still finding chemicals even out in Hinckley, California today, and PG&E's under a 100-year cleanup.
Can you talk about what your qualifications are and why you feel you can verify the information that you put out?
Years with these communities, understanding these chemicals, knowing where safety hazards exist.
She says the people of East Palestine should document every health concern, follow their instincts, ask the questions, and use their voice.
Legal rights about the chemicals, about the safety, about the water, how it's going to move in the water, what about the air. They are more than capable of critical thinking. Their common sense is working for them. They're rooted to their land and to their air, and something's wrong, and they're going to keep pushing until they find out and get the answers that they deserve.
And there are still spots available for the Brockovich Town Hall, and you do have to register for this. We have the link for you right on your screen and the 21 News app. It will start at 6 o'clock tomorrow in the East Palestine High School.
Okay, that's going to be 6 o'clock tonight, not tomorrow. That'll be tonight. They're going to be, she's going to be speaking with the townspeople there. And for those of you that don't know who Erin Brockovich is, Erin was an advocate back in the 90s. She was actually a housewife. She was a regular housewife. And things, PG&E from California, and we know PG&E is the main power source out in California. They're the ones that do the rolling blackouts. They're the ones that, provide the electricity for California. They're also, if you look at the CEO board members, they're the same board members that are on the company that has the patent for direct energy weapons. I put that information out on my Facebook a couple, 6 years ago. And I don't know if they were the same people that were on the board of directors for the do. But anyways, so she spearheaded a major lawsuit working as a legal clerk against the California utility company after hundreds of people got sick from groundwater contamination. She has a movie. It was called Erin Brockovich. It starred Julia Roberts and went on, showing the big deal that she had to go through, the threats that she received from PG&E and other government officials. And now she still remains and continues to be an advocate for environmental cleanup. And so she is on location today. She arrived last night, but she is in East Palestine, Ohio. Palestine, Ohio. You want to be confused with Palestine, the company or the country, but it's Palestine is how you pronounce there, I guess. Anyway, so she's there. Hopefully they're going to broadcast the town hall meeting tonight. So we're going to be able to do that. Speaking of town hall meetings, though, we're going to cross this video. I'm going to show you guys. We're so engrossed with the vinyl chloride that is. Oh, come on. 1 second. The vinyl chloride. That's not right. Hold on a minute. That we seem to be forgetting certain other things. And I'm going to get to that right now on this video.
Environmental experts.
Take a listen.
So
when you dump 100,000 gallons of chemicals and
oil.
And oil.
You're not talking about the oil.
60,000 gallons of oil. When you dump that into the ground and you don't take that out of the ground before you put your tracks on and you run your train on it.
You need to hire some new
That's an okay
experts.
decision. The oil,
ma'am.
The oil is going to cause us the long-term effects. Everybody's talking about the chemicals. And while I do think that's important, it's the oil that's seeping into our ground that you chose not to dig up and just put your tracks right over top of it. She's asking you specifically, what led you to that decision?
Ma'am, we've made a lot of progress on environmental remediation. We've dug up 4,600 cubic yards of soil, and
4,600 cubic is basically nothing, okay, in the grand scheme of things. What has happened is that we're so involved in looking at the toxic vinyl chloride, and yes, that is a problem. That is an environmental catastrophe in itself. But they also had this lubricant oil. And I have, where is it? Give me a second. I don't know where it is. But this oil is a lubricant, and it has so many chemicals that are in this oil. And what happened was the car that was carrying this broke open. And it started leaking and spilling this oil, this lubricant oil, all over the ground. What they did was they came in, and we heard Chris talk about this last night or Wednesday night. What they did was they cleaned up, they patched the hole where the oil was coming out of in the train. But they did not take out any of the contaminated soil. They patched it up. They brought in other soil, put over that spill, redid the railroad tracks to get the rail back on track, to get the rail back going, and ignoring the fact that this still is this is seeping into the groundwater. This is seeping into the water supply of not only the East Palestine residents, but also downstream in the tributaries that go into the Ohio River, ultimately the Mississippi River, ultimately into the Gulf of Mexico. They're ignoring these facts. So this is something that, nobody's talking about, and that needs to be addressed. And this CEO, I watched this whole interview. I'll put the link in the description below for you guys to watch it. He's an idiot. He's an absolute idiot. He doesn't answer any of the questions. He tap dances around the questions, and he basically is there just to show his face. He's done nothing. He has answered no questions. And I certainly hope that Erin Brockovich puts him on the hot seat tonight, because that's what needs to be done. Somebody needs to hold these guys' feet to the fire and get some answers. I'm going to put this up on the screen. We also talked about how Ohio, the agriculture that goes on with Ohio, as far as, chickens and milk and ultimately eggs. They grow a lot of their own feed for their cattle, for their livestock, and ultimately that's going to get into our food chain as well. Take a listen to this, guys.
This is Dahboo 7, an update to the situation out of East Palestine in Ohio. As right now, officials are saying that tens of thousands of animals out of the creek are dead. A lot of the fish, frogs, salamanders, all the aquatic life is showing to be dead in this area. The people that live downstream off of this branch specifically are saying that they're afraid to let their horses and their cows drink out of the creek or out of the waterway. We have individuals saying that their turkeys have been put on antibiotics due to respiratory problems connected to this whole thing. Chickens are laying eggs with what they are calling an unsettling purple hue. And people are afraid to even eat any food off of the trees or anything that they've got on their lawns, period, because they think that it's tainted. Now, add to this white film that's being seen all over the place in many different states, coming down out of the sky, settling on vehicles, and even on some vehicles close to the epicenter here. Paint is peeling off of the vehicles, bubbling up and like chipping off. So a lot going on surrounding this situation, and constant updates here needed with this as it's still leaching into the earth. Now, they have set up booms along the waterway, and there are cleanup crews that have been down here working, but it's still finding its way into the water table and then into the Ohio River and then heading downstream, ultimately hitting the Gulf of Mexico. A lot of the wastewater that they pulled out of here, they are sending to Texas, we come to find out, so it can be disposed of down there by a company that does that. But wanted to let it be known in terms of the wildlife, tens of thousands of animals dead in the surrounding rivers and lakes connected to this spot, and a lot of other issues with other problems as well. Join me on the live streams.
All right, I will put the link to Dahboo's entire video in the description area below for you guys to watch it as well. And he said the same thing, that ultimately it goes down the tributaries, ultimately it goes into the Ohio River, into the Mississippi, and down into the Gulf of Mexico. So this isn't something that's going to be contained in the state of Ohio or in Pennsylvania or any of the surrounding areas. This is something that's going to be traveling, and it's going to be affecting literally millions of people, like literally millions of people. And this isn't something that's going to stop. This is not going to be something that's going to clean itself up. They actually need to clean this up. They need to do something about this. And not only that, but you heard him say that a lot of people are afraid to eat the food that has been grown there. They're afraid to, look. People are all about money. It's always money, 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 money. Always, when you're researching something, always follow the money trail. That was the first thing I was taught as a journalist, is follow the money trail. And when you look at that, these people need to make a living as well. And, unfortunately, money trumps conscience. And So I asked Chris the other day what she thought, are these farmers that are in the area that are, these cows that are producing milk, are they dumping the milk, or are they sending it to in the milk trucks and sending it into production? And chances are, and it probably is, that this milk is still in production. So it's being sent out to the public. So again, affecting millions of people, the potential. He also mentioned about the eggs having this odd purple hue. Again, this is something that, if they're putting these they're putting these animals on antibiotics, there's another problem. People wonder why we have so many antibiotic resistant bugs out there. It's because they're so willing and they're so quick to put our animals on antibiotics, and that is something that goes into the meat and it passes down when we ingest the meat of these animals. And so there are precautions. The FDA only allows a certain amount of antibiotics, or a certain percentage of antibiotics, before it's deemed not appropriate for human consumption. So these are other things we have to look at and be aware of. Another thing is, I don't know if you guys heard about the plane crash that happened in Arkansas. And let me pull this up. Arkansas, it was a plane crash. Took off from Little Rock, took off from Clinton Airport. I don't think there's any correlation between the Clintons, but there is a correlation between Ohio. Arkansas firm identifies executives dead from plane crash. So check this out. The Arkansas-based environmental consulting firm that lost executives in a plane crash shortly after takeoff from Little Rock on Wednesday turned to social media on Thursday to identify the victims. It is with a heavy heart that we acknowledge the passing of our colleagues, Gunter Beatty, Kyle Bennett, Micah Kendrick, and Sean Sweeney, and Glenn Marcus Walker. A post on Twitter from CTEH read, they were valuable members of our team and the CTEH family. Well, who is a CTEH? CTEH happens to be an environmental company, environmental group that is a consulting firm. And these people were on their way. These particular people were on their way to that factory, that metal factory that exploded and burned in Ohio recently. But it's also the same company that is in East Palestine as well. So you know what? There's no coincidences whatsoever when it comes to these things. I'm going to put this up on the screen as well. You can see here, 5 environmental employees die in plane crash near Clinton National. Same company reportedly helped with East Palestine cleanup. And again, I'll put the link in the description below for you guys. I also got one more video to play for you. This isn't going to be very long. Like I said, I just wanted to do a quick update on what's going on here. Take a listen.
We have breaking news tonight of a plane crash in Little Rock, Arkansas. Just minutes ago, we learned the people on board were actually headed here to Northeast Ohio to help clean up the Oakwood Village explosion from Monday. All 5 people on board worked for an environmental consulting firm.
The plane took off from the Clinton National Airport around noon and was headed for John Glenn Columbus International Airport. Right now, we are digging into this story. We'll have much more on air and online as soon as we learn it.
We have breaking.
So you can see that they are even talking about it on mainstream. So I do have a lot of links I'm putting in the description below for you guys. If I do find Erin Brockovich, if I do find it being broadcasted, the town meeting tonight, I will run it for us. If not, we'll be back on Sunday night. Sunday night, we've got a few things to talk about. Well, one in particular. I'm going to be talking about China. China's got the United States' number when it comes to a few things. There's a new, let me see if I can pull it up. Ministry of Foreign Affairs in the People's Republic of China. They just put this out. U.S. hegemony and its perils. Talking about the United States. Talking about the tactics of the U.S. government and its questionable and shady dealings abroad. And China is definitely calling us out on that. We're going to talk about that on Sunday. So I may be back tonight. If not, I will see you guys on Sunday. If anything breaks in the meantime between now and then, I will be back. I hope you guys are all having a blessed day. It is Friday. So hope you're planning to have a very good weekend. And if I don't see you back here tonight, I will see you back here on Sunday. Thank you to all our moderators. Thank you to everybody for watching. And until next time, remember, guys, eyes open, no fear.